Then Iini will be leading us in our opening protocol. Please chant along, but make sure your mic is muted so that we don't get any drag. Mahalo. Aloha e, aloha e na akua, aloha e na aumakua, aloha e na li o Hawai'i. Aloha e na kupuna, aloha e na makua, aloha e ka leule. Aloha e. E ho mai kai ke mai na mai e. O na mea na no e o na mele. E ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai, ka ike mai una mai e, o na mea no e o na mele, e ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai, ka ike mai una mai e, o na mea no e o na mele, e ho mai, e ho mai, e ho mai, e. Mahalo nui e ini a iki manawa e ho'olauna kako ke kahi ki kahi. So we're going to do our introductions, turning it over to Dana.
Aloha kako and mahalo nui for being here, and mahalo to all of our fabulous presenters. My name is Dana Shapiro. I'm the manager of the Hawaii ʻulu Co-op, and I just wanted to go over some quick Zoom housekeeping for those of us who might not be Zoom experts yet. So at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a little menu, and on the left side is where you can mute and unmute yourself. So please stay muted for the presentations. You can unmute at the very end to say mahalo or ask questions. The next button over is to turn your video on and off. You may have noticed a recording announcement when Auntie Kū is getting started. We are recording this so that we can share it out with all of you and you can watch it again or share it with your family. But you may want to turn your video off, so that is up to you. I just give you an example of what it looks like. If you turn your video off, it's just a black screen. And then in the middle of your menu is the chat button. If you have any questions or comments or additional mana'o you want to share with the group, go ahead and put it in the chat box. We will be monitoring it and we will answer questions as they come through. And if we can't, then we'll answer them at the end or at least talk about them. So that's a quick overview. And then during the demo itself, when we get to the cooking portion, you will be able to control the size of your screen. So we're going to pin Iini cooking as well as Auntie Kū's slide deck with the ʻŌlelo Hawaii vocabulary, and you can control which you see bigger. Go ahead to the next slide. We recommend that when the cooking demo starts, you view the side-by-side speaker view. So if you click on the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom screen, you'll see a view button. If you click on it, you can select different types of views, and the side-by-side speaker works best. I think that's just about it. Here's a quick overview of our agenda for the day. I'm going to be handing it over to Michelle Grove, nutritionist from the Kona Community Hospital, in just a minute. Michelle is going to speak with us about the health benefits of eating Hawaii-grown staples, as well as some of the maladies that are so prevalent in Hawaii and how eating more Hawaii-grown staples can help. Then we're going to go right into the cooking demos. Michelle will wrap us up with some closing thoughts and we'll answer questions at that time. And then we'll have our closing protocol. So with that, just wanted to introduce Michelle. And we're so honored to have Michelle as one of our ʻulu ambassadors, not just Michelle, but the whole crew from the Kona Community Hospital. If you're not familiar with their work or you want to learn more, There is a video that I posted the link to at the bottom called Nutritional Benefits of Ulu that Michelle and her staff and other nutritionists from the state helped us put together. And then just to get Michelle started, there's some really, astounding and devastating statistics about how prevalent diabetes is in Hawaii. And so I put them on the screen. The first one is from JABSUM, the medical school. Over 40% of the adult population has prediabetes. Over 13%, 1 out of every 9 adults has diabetes, according to the CDC. And Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders are 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes compared to non-Hispanic whites. So anything we can do to reduce that and get people healthier and reduce the cost for all of us of treating this, the better. And so with that, I will turn it over to Michelle. Mahalo nui, Michelle, for being here.
Mahalo, Dana. So my name is Michelle Grove. I'm going to share my screen with you all, so bear with me for one moment. And this is my first time doing Zoom, so we've practiced, so here we go. Sorry. How's it look? Everyone can see?
Excellent.
Good. Okay, so that's me. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist. I've been practicing for about 11 years now, and I'm also the director of dietary services for Kona Community Hospital, and we also cover the West Hawaii region, which includes Kohala Hospital. I'm one of 3 registered dietitians that serve this area. So this is my team, and I know Auntie Kū knows Obed. He's down there next to me, my right-hand man over there. And, we really wanted to change up the scene at Kona Community Hospital with the food. We wanted to serve locally grown, nourishing food to our patients and staff, and we want to support the community with our food dollars. So that's why we started this whole new initiative, also with the Blue Zone Project. So this was us when we became a Blue Zone Project certified hospital, the first in the state of Hawaii. We started in 2018 this initiative to increase our local food purchases, have more healthy choices, and also promote wellness with our employees. And so from then to this day, we've increased our local food purchases by over 3 times. We've changed our menu from a very convenience menu that was a lot of pre-made items, just order it off of a company and then just really reheated or fried or whatever, to now we're doing from scratch seasonal and locally grown items supporting our community here. We are also a dual certified Blue Zone restaurant as well as an employer. So that was a big accolades for us to be, we're featured on the list of Blue Zone's restaurants when you go on the website in Hawaii. So what is Blue Zones about? So it's a big movement across the world. In Hawaii, you may have seen, at KTA, different places that were part of the Blue Zone initiative. And so there's about 9 key aspects to be a Blue Zone. And a Blue Zone, by definition, and how it was founded was by National Geographic photographer Dan Buettner, who was studying around the world, taking photos and realizing there's these places all around the world where people are living to be 100 years old, but they're healthy, they're not in a hospital bed, and they're loving life and they're active. And what's their secret, and these places were Loma Linda, California, Sardinia, Greece, what's their secret, So the 9 key things are: we want to move, we want to have purpose, we want to decrease our stress, we want to eat until we're full but not overeat, we want to have a mostly plant-based diet or a plant slant. If we're going to drink alcohol, we're going to do things like red wine and maybe just 1 a day. We're going to have a wonderful community. We're going to love each other, have a sense of belonging. So all of these things were key factors in how people are living so long but healthfully. And this is just, it's a lot on the screen here, I know, but this is available for you on the Blue Zone website, and also lots of recipes. But just again, some of their key points are, less meat and dairy, obviously less refined sugars, but much more in the way of whole foods, plant-based, lots of water, beans, and lots of fruits and vegetables, lots and lots of those things. So, and that really is key for everybody. That's always a good diet to recommend, whole foods. So these are just some pictures of how we at Kona Community Hospital have incorporated not only more whole foods, but more local whole foods. So we have Obed, my chef over here on the left, and he's processing ʻulu. And then we have Amber showing off the dish that we use some ʻulu for our patients and staff, which is a real hit. These are some other items that we participate with adaptations and other local farmers and co-ops. So, you know, just a green papaya salad and some dragon fruit and star fruit cups. And these are things that fly off the shelves in our cafe, and our patients love it as well when they're in the hospital, get nourishing food. So Dana talked about a few of the measurements of Hawaii and why, you know, was part of our purpose, why we're promoting these Hawaiian staples. These are the top 10 leading causes of death in Hawaii on the left from the Centers of Disease Control, and heart disease is the #1. And a lot of these in the top 10 are some of them lifestyle related, such as some cancers, stroke. There's also food ties to Alzheimer's disease in some cases, diabetes, and kidney disease. So unfortunately, heart disease is our #1 cause of death here. And Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders are more likely to be diagnosed with heart disease. We do have a 25% obesity rate here. And our rate of diabetes is increasing. We had a 35% increase to now over 10% of the population in Hawaii has diabetes. And then, as you said earlier, as many as 41.5% of the population could be pre-diabetic. So these are some shocking stats. The good news is that we're doing better than a lot of other states. In fact, we're in, you know, the top 10 best health. However, that doesn't mean this, you know, it's still not something we want to address. And the United States as a whole, we're all needing to address these health outcomes. So other lifestyle factors that can contribute, you know, you have your genetic predispositions, but also we can change those things with our diet, with exercise, managing our stress, weight management, quitting smoking, and cutting down on any excessive drinking. So I wanted to take a look at the staples that we're going to be cooking with today. The first one is ʻulu, also known as breadfruit. It really packs a punch, as all of these staples do, but one of the best things is it's low in fat, and it's also low on the glycemic index. It's high in fiber, protein, and many essential vitamins and minerals. So you can see here, one of the ones that we highlight is vitamin A, and half a cup of ʻulu can contain 6 times the beta carotene as half a cup of carrots. And we were always taught growing up, oh, carrots for eye health, but really ʻulu is the one that we should be promoting for that, you know. It's also a powerful antioxidant, and so that's going to be anti-cancer. Half a cup of ʻulu is also 25% of your daily value of fiber. That's huge. And fiber is really a nutrient of concern in the United States. We really don't get enough of it. And you're supposed to be getting, you know, 25 to 35 grams a day. Some cultures would do way more than that. Fiber is very important to regulate your blood sugar. It can help lower your cholesterol levels, and it also helps you maintain your weight by helping you feel satisfied for longer, and it promotes good gut health. There's, I'm sorry, but I can't see, hang on one moment, I can't see my own slide here. Okay, protein. We really like the fact that ʻulu, as a plant-based product, also has all of your essential amino acids. There's only a few other plant-based proteins that have all the essential amino acids. Soybeans are another one, quinoa as well. So it's a wonderful substitute if you are plant-based instead of meat. And with the glycemic index, I know I referred to that. That's an index of how foods regulate your blood sugar. Ulu, as well as both of the other staples we're going to talk about today, are low on that index, meaning they are slowly digested and they slowly release this carbohydrate and, help keep your blood sugar lower and longer. Okay, we're coming to the next one. This is just a visual about fiber and how that can help you with your health and weight management, as I touched on before. And there's your gut health as well. A big fact here is that the ratio of fiber in breadfruit compared to white rice is, 1 in 16. So it's a lot more. Next up, we have our ʻuala, or the purple sweet potato, which we'll also be cooking with today. So in 1 cup, we have lots of fiber. We also have vitamin A, but we also have vitamin C, a lot of potassium, low in sodium, and it's also low on the glycemic index, so better for your blood sugars. And you may know or you may not know, foods with really rich color, especially purple foods, very high in antioxidants. But, blueberries, they're getting all of the press on this, but this sweet potato has 3 times more cancer-fighting pigments than blueberries. So this is a big, powerful punch against cancer here, a lot of beta carotene as well. And this works by reducing your oxidative stress and also helps your insulin resistance, which once again will help prevent your diabetes or help manage it by improving blood sugar control. And also it helps lower blood pressure. Sorry, one moment here. Here we go. Lastly, I want to talk about kalo, which is also known as taro in a lot of other cultures. It is lower in calories than potato, much higher in fiber than potato, and we're comparing here to the white potato, not the purple. Fiber, which we already know helps decrease blood pressure and cholesterol levels. It's a resistant starch, regulates blood sugar, aids weight loss, and improves digestion. Kalo is a good source of manganese, which helps aid in metabolism boosting, also aids in bone health, and aids in blood clotting. Kalo is also high in potassium, which plays a role in your blood pressure, also low in sodium. And if you're using the leaves, they're a wonderful source of vitamin A, also calcium, potassium, and also low in calories. And kalo as well has many antioxidants to fight cancer. So I just, want to promote these wonderful items. I'm so excited today to learn how to cook more with these items and make the swap if you can. Try to switch out maybe once a week some rice or regular white potatoes for some of these staples and see how you like it. You can try lots of these items out there in the community today at the restaurants, or you can go pick up these. I know that you guys sold out, but also I've seen the ʻulu at KTA and other places, and I encourage you to get out there and try them out. So I'm gonna attempt to switch it over back to you guys, or maybe I might need to be pinned if it doesn't work. Dana, can you help me?
Yes, I will do my best here.
There we go. I think I may have done it.
Got it.
Did I? Okay, wonderful. There we go.
Auntie Kū, you're muted.
There we go. Mahalo nui, Michelle. A leila, aloha mai kākou o wau kū hina hina kui kahakai, kahakalau. O Honolulu ku'u o de hādau. O Hawai'i ku'u mo kupuni. O Kila wea ku'u mauna. O Waipio ku'u awawa. Ia, aloha mai.
Aloha mai kākou. O ini mai kalani ke ali kua ina kākala ko'u inoa. O Hawai'i ku'u ne hānau. O Waipio ku'u awawa.
Oops, kalani.
O Hi'ilami ku'u wailele. O Wai'olena ku'u kai.
Right, Kailoa. So at this point, if you could tell us what your name is, if you haven't already put it into the chat, whoever is listening in with you and where you're zooming in from. And as Donna also mentioned, why are you here? What do you want to learn today? We're going to be talking about all kinds of mea Hawaii, including ʻŌlelo no ʻeau, which are wise sayings. And for all of you who want to learn more about anything Hawaiian, including these plants, the ʻuala, the kalo, go download and buy ʻŌlelo no ʻeau on your phone. They have an ebook at Bishop Museum Press, and then you can learn so much about our kupuna and their ʻike, their knowledge. And so one of the things that they pass down to us is ʻaʻohe pau ka ʻike I ka hālau hoʻokahi. Hana hou? So today we're going to be ho'olohe and ho'opili mai, listening and repeating. Let's try that one more time. And you do it at home, you're muted, nobody can hear it, so do your best. A'ohe pau ka ʻike I ka hālau ho'okahi. And what that means is not all knowledge is contained in one school. In other words, one can learn from many sources. And we've learned from many sources over the decades. But if you've learned something different from us, that's okay. Because and so kamea mua, if you are going to cook with us today, kamea mua holoi lima. So if you're going to be cooking with us today, please wash your hands at this point in time. Iini has already done so before she sat down, but the rest of you, please holoi lima. Alela ea napono. Here are the things that we're going to need for our cooking demonstration today. O kamea mua ka papa oki. ʻŌlelo mai, hahopili mai, papa oki.
Papa oki.
Alela ka pahi, pono I ka pahi, ole mai pahi.
Pahi.
Mai kai. A pono no hoi ke ki aha ana. Ki aha ana. Po'opili mai. Hana ho?
Ki aha ana.
Mai kai. A me ka puna. Ole no mai puna.
Puna.
Mai kai. A o ka o. Ho ike mai ka o. Ho'opili mai o.
O.
Mai kai. A me ka pola. Ole no pola.
Pola.
Mai ka iloa. Oh, aka mai o ko. Woo! A una hana o e ho I ka hakui ana, o lelo hakui.
Hakui.
Maihi.
Maihi.
Poke.
Poke.
Komo.
Komo.
Oki.
Oki.
Ho'ohui.
Ho'ohui.
Mai ka iloa. No leila, o ka mea mua ka lau ai ulu. E ala. Ona mea ai ka ulu. Ia ka ulu ho ike mai ka kali. Kali iki. Ia ka ulu, ʻŌlelo ulu.
Ulu.
Mai kai. A ka'akai. Hana ho, a ka'akai.
A ka'akai.
Kelaki. Kelaki. ʻŌlelo mai. Kelaki.
Kelaki.
Mai kai. Apala. Apala. ʻŌlelo mai. Apala.
Apala.
Okay. Moa. Moa. ʻŌlelo mai. Moa.
Moa.
Meoneki. Meoneki. ʻŌlelo mai. Meoneki.
Meoneki.
Okay. Pa'akai. Pa'akai. Hana ho. Pa'akai. Pa'akai. Me ka pepa. Pepa. Oh, aia ka pepa I loko. Okay. Mai kai. A me ka a ka'akai lo ihi. A ka'akai lo ihi. Ea ka a ka'akai lo ihi. Mapopo? Oh, aka mai o ko mai ka iloa. All right. O a oia ka hana, a ka la'au ai ulu. Ka mea mua helo e kahi. Ha kui I ka ulu. A leila maihi I ka ulu. A leila poke I ka ulu. Hana ho. Helu e kahi.
Helu e kahi.
Hakui I ka ulu.
Hakui I ka ulu.
For those who remember, hakui is to steam. So the first step is steaming the ulu. Alaila, maihi I ka ulu.
Maihi I ka ulu.
Maihi means to peel. So we peel the ulu. Hana ho, maihi I ka ulu.
Maihi I ka ulu.
Alaila, poke I ka ulu.
Poke I ka ulu.
Now we always think poke means fish, but poke really means to cut into squares, into cubes. And so we poke our ulu. We're going to cut our ulu that has been steamed and has been peeled. Mai kai. Hana ho, helu e kahi.
Hakui I ka ulu.
Hakui I ka ulu.
Maihi I ka ulu.
Maihi I ka ulu.
Poke I ka ulu.
Poke I ka ulu. Mai kai. Maa kau kau? Mai kai. O ka helu e lua. Oki I ka akaakai momona. Oki I ka akaakai momona. Oki I ke kelaki. Oki I ka apala. Hana ho, helu e lua.
Oki I ka akaakai momona.
Oki I ka akaakai momona. Hana ho, oki I ka akaakai momona.
Oki I ka akaakai momona.
So oki we got, it's cut, right? Akaakai is an onion. Momona means sweet. So we're cutting our sweet onion. Oki I ka akaakai momona. Hana ho?
Oki I ka akaakai momona.
Mai ka iloa. Alela, o ka mea e lua. Oki I ke kelaki. Hana ho? Oki I ke kelaki.
Oki I ke kelaki.
Kelaki, celery, right? Mai ka ʻŌlelo haole mai. Celery, kelaki. So, kia manawa, oki I ke kelaki. Hana ho?
Oki I ke kelaki.
Cut the celery. Hana ho? Oki I ke kelaki.
Oki I ke kelaki.
Mai ka I mahalo. Alaila, oki I ka apala. Hana ho? Oki I ka apala.
Oki I ka apala.
Now, a lot of these words, we didn't have apples, right? So apala is apple, apala. Oki I ka apala. Hana ho?
Oki I ka apala.
Mai kai. So we cut the sweet onion, we cut the celery, and we cut the apple. Mai kai. Leila, helu e kolu, oki I ka moa. Moa, moa is our chicken, right? Oki I ka moa. Hana ho, oki I ka moa.
Oki I ka moa.
So ina ku'ai oi ka moa Costco, that just hemoka I ka i'o. If you bought Costco chicken, which is the cheapest, that's why we kind of recommend it. Then you can make a really big salad with just one Costco chicken. I mean, like a big pan. Yeah. So we cut the chicken. If you have Costco, then just strip it from the bone. If you have boneless, skinless, which is what we're using today, because we live too far away from Costco, we just oki I ka moa. Hana ho, oki I ka moa.
Oki I ka moa.
Mai kai, yeah. And the moa obviously should be cooked, right? So Costco chicken would be cooked already. We cooked ours. What did we do?
We cooked ours.
Sauteed it. Okay, we sauteed it in the pan with a little bit of Pam. Mai kai. Hana ho, oki I ka moa.
Oki I ka moa.
Mai kai. Helu e ha. Komo I nā mea I ka pola nui.
Komo I ka mea I ka pola nui.
Hana ho, komo I nā mea
Komo I nā mea
I ka pola nui.
I ka pola nui.
A leila ho'o hui mai kai. Ho'o hui mai kai. So we're putting everything in a big bowl and then we're going to mix it good. Ho'o hui mai kai. Hana ho komo I nā mea
Komo I nā mea
I ka pola nui.
I ka pola nui.
Ho'o hui mai kai.
Ho'o hui mai kai.
Oh, oia. A leila helu e lima. Komo I ka meo neki. Komo I ka pa'akai. A komo I ka pepa. So ka mea nui, ka meo neki. Kala mai. Komo I ka meo neki. Hana ho. Komo I ka meo neki. Komo I ka pa'akai a me ka pepa ua ho'ohui ia. We already have our pepper and pa'akai and pepper mix. So first the mayonnaise and then salt and pepper. We put that inside. Komo I ka meko. Hana ho, komo I ka meo neki.
Komo I ka meo neki.
Komo I ka pa'akai.
Komo I ka pa'akai.
Komo I ka pepa.
Komo I ka pepa.
Oh, you guys are becoming fluent speakers already. Mai ka iloa. Hee. Ah, oia. A leila helu e ono. Ho'ohui I na mea a pau. Ho'ohui I na mea a pau. Hana ho? Ho'ohui
I na mea a pau.
mai kai. We're going to mix everything together. Mai kai. Ho'ohui I na mea a pau. Hana ho?
Ho'ohui I na mea a pau.
Mai kai. A o ka mea hope loa. Komo I na a ka'akai lo ihi. Komo I na a ka'akai lo ihi. Oki mua kala mai. Oki I na a ka'akai lo ihi. Hana ho oki I na a ka'akai lo ihi. Forgot that step. Cut them first. Yeah, we don't want a long green onion inside there. Alela komo I na a ka'akai lo ihi. Then we'll put those green onions as a little garnish on the top. Mai kailoa. Oya. Oh, oya vale. Here we have our first salad. Oya kamean mua kalau ai ulu. Okay, so this is our first recipe, our ulu salad, and we'll take a look at. Oh, she's gonna plate it for us first. Yes, we want to see what it looks like on the plate. Nolela, lau ai is literally means a leaf that you can eat. And so we use that word for vegetables. We can use saleta, which comes from salad, but lau ai makes more sense. It's leaves or some sort of fruits that are edible. So we call it lau ai ulu. Hana ho, lau ai ulu.
Lau ai ulu.
Ea ka lau ai ulu.
Eia ka lau ai ulu.
Mai ka iloa. Oh yeah. Mahalo. So ikia manawa ka wala au kako e pili ana I ka ulu. So we're going to talk a little bit about ulu. Oye ki kumu ulu. ʻŌlelo mai, kumu ulu.
Kumu ulu.
So the ulu tree was used and is used for many things in Hawaii, for poi boards, for surfboards, for canoes, for bowls. It's a beautiful, beautiful wood. Oia hoi o ka hua ulu, oia ka hua ulu, the fruit. Hana ho, hua ulu. And the hua ulu is the fruit, and that's used primarily for food. Then we have the lau ulu. Hana ho, lau ulu.
Lau ulu.
And some of the uses for the lau ulu are as sandpaper. We can use it as mulch, and we can also use it for medicine. I make a tea out of the leaves. I dry the leaves, and I make a tea, and it tastes actually quite good, and it's really good for you. And ea ki kahi ʻŌlelo no eau. Here we have a ʻŌlelo no eau. Our kupuna said, "A'ohe ulu e loa'a I ka pō kole o ka lou." Hana ho, a'ohe ulu
A'ohe ulu.
e loa'a
E loa'a.
I ka pō kole
I ka pō kole.
o ka lou.
O ka lou.
All right. O ka lou ke ia mea picking stick. Yeah, the lou is what we call our picking stick. And ma Hawaii nui na kumu ulu. Kana walu kuma lima kapua'i. In Hawaii, our ulu trees can grow really, really big, up to 85 feet. And if you don't have a long picking stick, you're never going to get the best ulu, because those are always way out there. They're never the ones that hang low. The really beautiful ones, they're always way out there. And so in order to get those, you have to have a really long low. And the idea of that is really that without preparation, you're not going to be successful. So hana ho, a'ohe ulu,
A'ohe ulu.
e loa'a
E loa'a.
I ka pō kole
Ka pō kole.
o ka lou.
O ka lou.
Mai kai. Nui na ano, ho'okahi a oi ano ulu. So we have lots and lots of ulu varieties, and here are just a few, so you can see that there's not just one type of ulu. A nui na inoa, moana nui, like, ano like. So we have this, we know that the ulu, came from, we brought that with us when we came from the south. And there's basically two names, two major descriptions, ulu or uru or kuru. And then there's the word mei, which we have both in the Marquesan and in Tonga, and all the way up in Micronesia too. So we know that this fruit was used throughout Micronesia, Melanesia, and obviously Polynesia, and introduced through Southeast Asia. Ea ka moʻolelo o ke kumu kū. So here's the story of the kumu, kumu kū, meaning the tree of kū. And I'm going to do it in Hawaiian and in English. Ma kaukau e ala. Hoi ki kahi la ua hele mai ki kahi kāne Hawai'i. A ike oia ki kahi wahine I loa o lele mai aloha mai o au kū. O lele mai ka wahine ano ai, e hele mai ai. So one day Kū arrives in Hawaii and he sees this beautiful wahine and he does, hey, I'm Kū. And she says, oh, hello, come and eat. And of course, eating leads to more, and nui na keiki. O lele mai ka wahine, hulo he keiki ho. And so they get together and they have a very large family, and she keeps giving birth and they have a wonderful time together. They love each other and everything is great. A kai ki kahi la hele mai ka wawi a ohe mea ai a o lelo mai ka wahine ki kane e Kū. Pololi loa na keiki o lelo mai o Kū. Hiki au ke ho o laku I ka ai a ka ke hele au a ole wau e ho I mai. So one day a famine strikes Hawaii, and the wife says, Kū, the children are so hungry. And he says, well, I can supply some food, but if I go, I can't go back. And now remember all these kids, she goes, ole, ole. You're not going to leave me here with all these children, right? Aka pololi loa na keiki, olelo mai o kawahine, ai mamake loa mako I ka ai. So the children are sad, they keep crying for food, and so the wahine agrees. Olelo mai o Kū e hele mai a hele lawa I ka mala, a Kū o Kū maluna o kona po'o, a nalo vale I loko ka honua. And so Kū tells her, come follow me into the garden. And in the garden, he stands on his head and he disappears into the ground. And when the wahine hoi oia I kana mau keiki, olelo mai na keiki pololi mako e mama. Olelo mai ka wahine, awe, a oe ai, a ua ha'alele o papa. When she comes back to her children, they go, oh, mommy, we're so hungry. And she says, oh, my goodness, I don't know what to do. There's no food. And on top of that, your father left us. Nui ka pilikia, kau mahaloa lako. So they were very, very sad. Ue mai ka wahine hele oia I kahi ana I nalo valoe I loko ka honua o lele mai, awe. She goes to the spot where her husband disappeared into the ground and she cries, my goodness. She doesn't know what to do. Aka I ka la'e, yaya I hele I ke la kahi ho kahi. Oh, na, he ulu, e ola ana ku'ohana. So the next day she gets to this exact spot where her husband disappeared in the ground, and voila, a ulu tree. And she says, look, a ulu, my family shall live. And she's so happy. Ho'i oia I na keiki o lele mai oia. Ea ka ulu e na keiki. She returns to her children. She tells them, hey, here's some ulu. And how ole lako. They're all very, very happy. A leila, hele mai ki kahi wahine hana ino o lele mai oia. Maki wau I ki ia ulu. But then a lady came and she didn't have good intentions. She wanted some ulu, but she didn't even ask. A yaya I ho'o pa'a I ka ulu, nalo vale ho ki kumu ulu I loko ka honua. Awe, ua nalo vale ki kumu ulu o lele mai ke la wahine. So she comes, and as soon as she tries to grab that ulu, the tree disappears into the ground, and she goes, ay, my goodness, that whole ulu tree disappeared. A leila, hele mai na kanaka ea e olelo mai ka wahine e pololi mako a haawi ka wahine ya lako I ka ulu olelo mai oia. Eia ka ulu e kala mai ho o kahi wale no. So other people come and they're nice and they ask and they say, we're so hungry. And the wahine gives them a ulu, but she says, I'm so sorry. I can only give you one because all these people are coming, plus she has all these children. A leila I kapo, pule oia I kanakane. A ʻŌlelo mai oia, e olo mai I ku. E ho'olaka, nuia I amako. So she prays to her husband Kū and she says, please Kū, supply some more for us because it's not enough. I can't give, there's not enough to give to everybody. A leila I kala ae hele ka wahine me ki kahi o kāna mau keiki I ke lawahi. Na, he kumu ulu li'i. And so the next day, the wahine and one of her children go to that spot again, and right next to the ulu, a baby ulu appeared. And she goes, look, there's a little ulu tree right there. Aleila, ke hele hou na kanaka no noi I ka mea ai, ʻŌlelo mai ka wahine eia. E kanu I kia kumu ulu li'i, a mahalo nui na kanaka yaya. And so when more people came and asked for more ulu, instead of giving them the ulu, she gave them the sapling so that they could grow their food. And she said, here, I can give you this little tree and then you can plant it for yourself and then you can have ulu for as long as you want. And they were so grateful. They said, mahalo nui, thank you so much. So oia ka moʻolelo o ki kumu ulu. O ki kino lau o Kū oia hoʻi ka ulu, a me ka nio, a me ka ohiʻa lehua, a me ke koa, a me ka noni, a me ka io, a me ka ʻilio, a me ka moa. So in this story, we heard about the body form of Kū being the ulu. So he literally transforms himself into an ulu tree. But Kū can also transform himself into other things like the niu, the coconut, the ohiʻa lehua, the koa, the noni. He can appear as a hawk, an io, or a dog, an ʻilio, or a chicken, a moa. And so those are some of the stories about Kū. Now we're going to go to our lauʻai ʻelua, o ia hoʻi ka lauʻai ʻuala. So we're gonna move and start on our sweet potato salad. Oh yeah. Ka mea mua o na mea ai, o ia hoʻi ka ʻuala, ka ʻakaʻakai momona, ka ʻukama, pea, ohiʻa lomi, peku lau ʻuala, waiu paʻa, a me lau ai. E hoʻike mai e ini o ʻuala. Hana hou, ʻuala. ʻuala. A kaʻakai momona. A kaʻakai momona. A kaʻakai momona. Ka ʻukama. Ka ʻukama. Ka ʻukama. Pea. Pea. Ohiʻa lomi. Ohiʻa lomi liʻiliʻi. Peko lau ʻuala. Hana hou peko lau ʻuala. Waiu paʻa. Waiu paʻa. Waiu paʻa I ka lia. Lau ai. Lau ai. Maikai. So we have ʻuala sweet potato, we have sweet onions, we have cucumber, we have avocado, we have baby tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, or grape tomatoes. We have a pesto that we made out of sweet potato leaves earlier. And it's basically just sweet potato leaves and a little bit of aila oliva, right? Right. And pakai?
The lau ʻuala, a kaʻakai pilau.
Okay.
Aila oliva, a me ka waiu paʻa I ka lia.
Okay, so we have the sweet potato leaf, raw sweet potato leaves. Then we have garlic. Then we have olive oil and oh, then we also have some Parmesan cheese, and we blended it up, and that's our sweet potato leaf pesto, mai kai. And then waiupa'a is our Parmesan cheese. And lau'ai is our salad. No leila, mākaukau e hana I ka lau ai ʻuala. Helu e kahi. Hakui I ka ʻuala. Hana ho?
Hakui I ka ʻuala.
Maihi I ka ʻuala.
Maihi I ka ʻuala.
Poke I ka ʻuala.
Poke I ka ʻuala.
Okay, so hana ho. Hakui I ka ʻuala.
Hakui I ka ʻuala.
Remember hakui to steam, right? First thing we steam. It's always better to steam than to boil, because the boiling takes a lot of nutrients. Whether it's kalo, ʻuala, ʻulu, it's better to steam. It retains more of its nutrients. Maihi ka ʻuala, maihi to peel. So then we peeled the ʻuala. Alela poke I ka ʻuala. Remember poke again, small cubes. It can be from a half an inch to an inch, depending on how big you like to have your bites. Yeah. But poke, making it into little cubes. Alela. Oki I ka aka'akai momona.
Oki I ka aka'akai momona.
Oki I ke ka'ukama.
Oki I ke ka'ukama.
Oki I ka pea.
Oki I ka pea.
E hana ho oki I ka aka'akai momona.
Oki I ka aka'akai momona.
So we're cutting our sweet onion. Oki I ka aka'akai momona. So the aka'akai is actually like a bulrush. It's a reed kind of that grows, a native one, but we use that word for onion because it kind of looks like the leaf looks like an onion leaf, and then momona just meaning sweet, so that would be a sweet onion. Hana ho oki I ka aka'akai momona.
Oki I ka aka'akai momona.
Oki I ke ka'ukama.
Oki I ke ka'ukama.
So cucumber, ka'ukama comes from cucumber, yeah. Oki I ke ka'ukama. Hana ho?
Oki I ke ka'ukama.
Oki I ka pea.
Oki I ka pea.
Now, pear can mean pear, but pear can also mean avocado. And in our case, it's an avocado. Yeah? Oki I ka pea means cut the avocado. Yeah, kahana. Hana ho. Oki I ka pea.
Oki I ka pea.
Okay. Because, pear and avocado, they kind of look similar. And so that's the word that we use instead of saying avocado or something like that. So pear, oki I ka pea, mai kai.
Oki I ka pea.
Alela, komo I nā mea I ka pola nui. Komo I nā mea I ka pola nui a ho'ohui. Hana ho, komo I nā mea.
Komo I nā mea.
I ka pola nui.
I ka pola nui.
So we put all the stuff. Mea means the kind. Whenever you don't know a Hawaiian word, say mea, and everybody thinks, oh, she knows the word, she just forgot it temporarily. Yeah, so the word mea, you can use it for anything. Action, adjective, verbs, nouns, whatever, it doesn't matter. No leila. Komo I nā mea.
Komo I nā mea.
So put the kind, I ka pola nui.
I ka pola nui.
So we're putting all of that into a big bowl. Our ohi alomi, our ʻuala, our aka'akai,
Ka'ukama.
the ka'ukama, alela ho'ohui. Ho'ohui. Hana ho? Ho'ohui. Hui, right? We know the word ahui ho until we meet again. So when you ho'ohui, you're causing things to meet each other, right? Inside the bowl. The cucumber is meeting the onion and the tomato. Yeah. So we're meeting each other. They meet ho'ohui. Hana ho? Ho'ohui.
Ho'ohui.
Mai kai. Alela helu e ha, komo I ka ohi alomi, komo I ka peko lau ʻuala. So now we hana ho first. Komo I ka ohi alomi.
Komo I ka ohi alomi.
Yeah, she had already put it in there. Halipilikia. Komo I ka peko lau ʻuala.
Komo I ka peko lau ʻuala.
So put our sweet potato pesto, sweet potato leaf pesto. Iloko. Ai. Alela, komo I ka waiu pa'a.
Komo I ka waiu pa'a.
The better your cheese, the better it's going to taste. So if you can splurge a little bit on the Parmesan rather than buying the one in the green jar, kind of, it'll taste better. Alela, komo maluna o ho'ohui. Ho'ohui. Sorry, we ho'ohui. We mix everything up. Hana ho'ohui. See you guys getting all these words. I'm so proud of you. Mai kailo. I see everybody's lips moving. Mai kai. Ho'ohui. Hana ho? Ho'ohui. Okay. And komoho ika peko, a little bit more peko. Ini has this all eyeballed. She loves peko. Ai o no loa ka peko lau ʻuala. So if you're growing sweet potatoes, which is one of the easiest things in the world to do, we have a patch right outside of our door. Make sure you use the leaves as well. Yeah, don't just wait for the potatoes. While you wait for the potatoes, which isn't that long, couple months, 3-4 months, you can be eating leaves the whole time. She makes like pork hash with ʻuala leaves, and I mean you can do so much with that. No leila. Komo maluna o kalau ai. Hanoho, komo maluna o kalau ai. So our lau ai, our edible leaf in this case is spinach, and komo maluna, we're going to put it on top. That's spinach. We're going to put our lau ai ʻuala maluna o kalau ai spinach. Yes. Yeah, we're going to stop and start eating now. Okay. Eia la, eia kalau ai ʻuala. Ano eia kalau ai ʻuala. Here's our ʻuala salad. Look at it. So our address, if you want to come by, in the Hilo area. So we're going to talk a little bit about the ʻuala. Nui na inoa makamoana nui liki a liki. So if you look at the names for the sweet potato, it's almost the same name throughout the Pacific, which really defutes the theory that we went to America to get the sweet potato and bring it back, because there's no way that the words would have went backwards with the migration. We would have had different words in Tonga and all over the place. So we really think that our kupuna already brought it with us, because there was sweet potatoes way in ancient times were grown in India. And then the Americans, actually, the Native Americans, took it across the bridge and brought it all the way down to South America. So it's most likely based on our inoa, on our names, that we brought it with us rather than we got it from America. I'm not saying that we didn't travel and sail to America as well, but so plenty types of varieties. Here are just a few different types of leaves. And na ano ʻuala. And here's some of the corms, different colors, different skin color, different meat color, very different. So as I mentioned earlier, the sweet potato leaf is a very healthy dish, something very healthy. Greens, you can eat it raw, with the pesto. Other than that, we blanch it a little bit or with a little bit of olive oil. And then once you do that, it's called palula. So palula is a cooked sweet potato leaf. You can make soups and stews, and you can, then once you have it like that, cut it up and put it in the salads. I mean, there's just so many things you can do with this very delicious and very healthy palula. Hano, palula. So when you pick it, it's a lau ʻuala, it's a sweet potato leaf, but once you cook it, it becomes palula. Yeah? Hanaho, palula. Maikai. He kino lau olono ka ʻuala. Ona kino lau eae olono o e hoi ka ke kukui, ka pua'a, a me ka humu nuku a pua'a. Oops, I'm missing a U there. Kalamai. Me ka ahole. So the sweet potato is a kino lau, or a body form of lono. And you notice in this case, these particular kino lau of lono, they all have the same shape. So we have the sweet potato leaf, we have the kukui leaf, right? Looks almost the same. We have the pig, the pua'a, the snout. We have the humu nuku a pua'a that also looks similar. And the ahole, for those of you who are familiar with the ahole fish, it also looks very similar. So that's one way that you can remember that they are all kino lau of lono. Eia no ka moʻolelo o lona puha a me ka makanui a haʻi o lono. So here's the story of lona puha and ka makanui a haʻi lono. Ua noho o lono ma kiola ka'a ma waiohinu ma ka moku ka'u ma ka moku puni o Hawai'i. Ai ki kahi la o lena ma e E hele au mauka I ka mahi ai me ku o hou. A ka ole oia I makaala a ole oia I nana I na iwa I kikaha I ka lani. So Lono lived in Kū-A-Kanaka in Waiohinu in Ka'u on the island of Hawaii. And one day he had this brand new digging stick, his o'o, and he said, oh, I'm gonna go mauka and do some farming with my brand new o'o. But he wasn't really maka'ale, he wasn't watching out. He didn't notice that there were some iwa birds flying in the sky. Which in some cases for Hawaiians indicates that there's some pilikia ahead. Alela, Yaya I hele I mauka ua huipu oia me kona hoaloha o ka makanui a haʻiolono. A ʻŌlelo mai o ka makanui a haʻiolono. Aka hele, he poʻino. Ole paha I ka makanui a haʻilono ʻŌlelo mai ʻolono. So as he proceeds to go up mauka, he runs into his friend ka makanui a haʻilono, who tells him, hey, beware. Looks like there's some trouble ahead because ka makanui a haʻilono spots the iwa bird. And Lona says, nah, I don't think so, ka makanui a haʻilono. A leila, holo mau oia, pi'i uka, a ho'omaka oia I ka mahi ai. Au e no hoi, ua o lono I kona wāwai me kona me kana o hou au lena mo e awi, e haku wāwai, nui ki koko. So he proceeds to go upland and he begins farming. And in one moment of inattention, he pierces his foot with his brand new digging stick. And he goes, awi. Did you know awi was a Hawaiian word, right? We say it all the time. It's Hawaiian. So you're already speaking Hawaiian when you say awi. He says, my foot is sore. And he sees all the blood coming out. Oh my God, plenty blood. O ka maule no o lono ia. Hele mai ki kahi kanaka o len mai, aue. Ua maule o lono, e ki wau ia ka makanui a haʻilono. So the blood keeps gushing out and Lono faints. One of his servants arrives. He goes, oh my goodness, Lono fainted. I'm going to get ka makanui a haʻilono. So he runs, holo oia me ka awiwi, ki'i oia ki kahi pua'a, hele oia, ka hale o ka makanui a haʻilono a ʻŌlelo mai. Ka makanui a haʻilono. Ea ka pua'a. E hele mai ki olo, ua maule o lono. A ʻŌlelo mai o ka makanui a haʻilono. E kaliki, e ki'i wau I ka popolo a me ka mu'o. So he runs, the servant, he grabs a pig from his hale, and he runs to ka makanui a haʻilono's house, and he goes, ooh, ka makanui a haʻilono, here's a pig. Please come, Lona has fainted. And so ka makanui a haʻiolono tells him, e kaliiki, wait a little bit. I'm going to get some popolo and I'm going to get some mu'o. So the idea about bringing a pig is when you ask somebody to do something for you, you don't go there empty-handed. You bring something. And so that was the way for him to pay forward and say, here is a pig. Can you please come and help me? And then ka makanui a haʻiolono gathers popolo, and you see the plants right there with the little blackberries. That's a popolo. And he also gets a mu'o, which is the midrib of not the midrib, but it's the youngest shoot that comes out in the middle of a tea leaf. So he grabs that shoot too, because that shoot is antiseptic. It's that before that the tea leaf unfurls, so it's sterile. So whenever you're in the mountains or somewhere and you have a cut, you can use that mu'o as a band-aid. No leila hele lawa I kahi a lono I maule ai a komono o ka maka nui a haʻilono I ka popolo a me ka mu'o ma luna o ke la eha a lono. So they go and where Lona has fainted, and ka maka nui a haʻilono puts the popolo and the mu'o and then some more tea leaf and wraps it up. And in no time, Lona is back in top shape. Yaya I kuhou ʻŌlelo mai o lono. Ka makanui a haʻilono. Pehea oi ho'ola ia'u. ʻŌlelo mai o lono. Ua ho'oana wau I ka popolo me ka la'i. So Lona asked ka makanui a haʻilono, how in the world did you heal me? I was passed out. I thought I was going to die. I was losing so much blood. And he said, I used popolo, the popolo berry, and I used the tea leaf. A leila ʻŌlelo mai o Lono, e kamaka nui ha'a ilona, e olu, e a'o mai ia'o I ka la'au. A ʻōlelo mai o kamaka nui a ha'i lono. Hiki no e lono, e a ku'uha. Mai kēia manawa aku o lono puha ko inoa. So Lono is just totally blown away that he's doing so well and his foot hardly hurts anymore. And he says, e kamaka nui a ha'i lono. Can you please teach me about la'au, about medicine? And kamaka nui a ha'i lono says, yes, I can. Here is my ha. Here is my breath. And from now on, your name is not just going to be Lono, it's going to be Lono Puha. Now, ke la mana'o o Lono o Puha, he mana'o hoi hoi. So, Puha o kamaka nui a ha'i lono. Kamaka nui a ha'i o lono, that's what we call Puha in Hawaiian, and transfers his ha, his breath of life, into Lono's waha, into his mouth. Now, the idea of puha is an interesting thing. It can mean to belch, to burp, to clear the throat, and to hawk out phlegm. But it can also mean to breathe air as a sea turtle, or it can mean abscess. So sometimes when they talk about Lono puha, they say the abscess Lono because of his sore in the foot. But I think it's really about that puha, that spit/breath that kamaka nui a ha'i lono shared with puha and shared all of his knowledge. That's the way in traditional times, and in some cases still today, that the ʻike is passed on, the knowledge is passed on from one generation to another, is by sharing this ha before an elder passes away with the person that they want their ʻike to go to. And so puha is that concept. We have a ʻōlelo no eau that says, puha hewa ka honu I ka lā makani. The turtle breathes at the wrong moment on a windy day. You know, when the turtles come up from the water and the wind is going that way, they can kind of lose it also. And so whenever you use that ʻōlelo no eau, when somebody says the wrong thing at the wrong time and then suffers the result. I know that happens to me a lot, so I know how that feels. Puha hewa ka honu I ka lā makani. Wrong time, I took my breath there. No leila mahope mai ha'alele o lono puha a me kamaka nui a ha'i lono ya kiola ka'a a ka'a puni lawa ya Hawai'i hele I kukui haile. So then lono puha and kamaka nui a ha'i lono leave kiola ka'a in Ka'u and they travel all the way around Hawaii Island until they get to kukui haile, which is where you're looking at down into Waipio, and where my ohana has been blessed to live since 1991. Alela, ho'omakalawa I ka halau mua ho'ola ma kukui haile. Mahope mai ha'alele o lono ʻōlelo mai o iwai manu au e kamaka nui a ha'i lono a ʻōlelo mai o kamaka nui a ha'i lono a hui ho e lono puha. And so the two of them established the first medical school, the first training center for la'au lapa'au for Hawaiian medicine in Kukui Haile, right where we live. And from there on, Lono Puha goes to Waimanu, which is the next valley over from Waipio. And Lono Puha stays in Kukui Haile and continues the school of healers. And this is from way back at that ʻike has been passed down from Hawaiians from generation to generation. Ka mea nui wahi ana kupuna I pa'a ke kino I ke keiki I ka la'au. Hana hou, I pa'a ke kino o ke keiki I ka la'au. So our kupuna said the body of the child be solidly built by the medicines. And so when you were hapai, you would eat leaves like the ʻuala leaf, the lau kahi, the popolo, and these as you were hapai, and then also once your child was born, the child would get these la'au until they were 20 years old, and as a result they would be healthy and strong through maturity and through old age. Okay, o kia manawa hana kako I ka lau ai e kolu o yeho I ka lau ai kalo. So this is our third salad coming up. Ma kau kau, everybody? Mai kai. O na mea ai e pono ai o yeho I ki kalo. Hana ho kalo.
kalo.
Mai kai. A ka'akai ʻuala. Kalamai, ʻula. A ka'akai ʻula.
Ka'akai ula.
Mai kai. A pala.
Apala.
Okay. Kelaki.
Kelaki.
Okay. Kukui haole. Kukui haole. Now we just made these words up, right? Kukui is a candle nut. We just said haole, that's the walnut. Could be any nut that doesn't grow in Hawaii. That's just, not really walnut. It just means a foreign nut. Kukui haole.
Kukui haole.
Okay. Makeke. Mustard. Makeke. Makeke.
Makeke.
Okay. Meli.
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 Vineka.
Vineka.
Vineka. Right?
Vineka.
Vineka, right? That's why I put it. Vineka, right? So we use this Hawaiian, we just Hawaiianize these English words. Pa'akai.
Pa'akai.
Pepper.
Pepper.
So ho'ohui ia, she mixed the two together. Pa'akai and pepper, mai kai. Ame kalau ai. Mai kai. So we have our kalo, our taro, we have our aka'akai ʻula, our red onion, our pala apple, kelaki celery. Kukui haole is the walnuts. It could be macadamia nuts or something else too, but hazelnuts, but we just picked walnuts. Makeke is our mustard. Meli, honey. Vinegar. Pa'akai is salt. Pepper, and lauai is, again, any kind of leaf that's edible. In this case, it's arugula, right? Arugula? Ai, mai kai. All right, makaukau, e ala. Woohoo! Hello, e kahi. Hakui ke kalo.
Hakui ke kalo.
Maihi ke kalo.
Ma'ihi ke kalo.
Poke ke kalo.
Poke ke kalo.
Right, same thing again. So hakui, steam the taro, preferred over boiling. Alena maihi ke kalo, we peel the taro and make sure you peel it good. You do not want to eat taro peel, right? ʻuala peel is all right. Ulu peel kind of, but definitely not ʻuala peel. So make sure you maihi maikai ke kalo. Alena poke ke kalo.
Poke ke kalo.
Ano hakui ke kalo.
Hakui ke kalo.
Maihi ke kalo.
Ma'ihi ke kalo.
Poke ke kalo.
Poke ke kalo.
Maikai. O ka mea ʻelua, oki I ka aka'akai ʻula. Oki I ka aka'akai ʻula. Oh, you're still doing kalo. Oh, kala mai. I went too fast. She's still cutting kalo. My bad. Kala mai. Okay, e ala. Oki I ka aka'akai ʻula.
Oki I ka aka'akai ʻula.
So we're cutting our red onion, mai kai. Oki I ka aka'akai ʻula.
Oki I ka aka'akai ʻula.
Mai kai. So again, aka'akai, is a traditional rush that has the same kind of leaves as the onions, and then we describe it with ʻula, meaning red, so red onion. Aka'akai ʻula. Oki I ka aka'akai ʻula.
Oki I ka aka'akai ʻula.
Mai kai. Alaila, oki I ka apala.
Oki I ka apala.
All right. E ka apala, we use the red apple, but if you like green apples or colorful apples, whatever, oki I ka apala. Hano, oki I ka apala.
Oki I ka apala.
Mai kai. Oki I ke kelaki.
Oki I ke kelaki.
Okay. Oki I ke kelaki. Kelaki, celery, right? Oki I ke kelaki. Hano, oki I ke kelaki.
Oki I ke kelaki.
Mai kai. And oi ka pahi mai kai lo. When your knife is sharp, everything cuts easy, yeah? Mai kai. Oki I ke kelaki. One more time. Oki I ke kelaki. What I forgot the okina de kalama. Oki I ke kelaki.
Oki I ke kelaki.
Alela, oki I na kukui haole.
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 So these are the walnuts, and we have chopped them fine. Again, if you like bigger pieces of walnuts, that's fine. Aole pilikia. Alela, Komo ina mea I ka pola nui. Komo ina mea I ka pola nui. Oh, you guys, I am so blown away. You're sounding fabulous. Ano, komo ina mea I ka pola nui. Okay. If I had to give you a grade, it would be an A for today. Mai ka iloa. A leila kia komo ina mea I ka pola nui. Ho'o hui. Right? Again, ho'o is to cause something. So whenever you want something to happen, you put ho'o in front of it. So you see a cockroach, you want it make, you ho'o make the cockroach, right? It's always like if you want to be beautiful, which is nani, you can put makeup or whatever it is that you do to get beautiful, you ho'o nani, right? So whenever you ho'o, it means to cause something to happen. In this case, we want them all to meet, so we say ho'o hui, hanaho, ho'o hui. Which means to mix, right? To mix together. Ho'o hui, ano? Mai kai. Alela, ho'o hui, I ka makeke. So, ki I ka pola ho, to get another bowl. Alela, ho'o hui, I ka makeke. So, we mix our mustard. Makeke is mustard. Ho'o hui, I ka makeke. I ka vinegar. Kameli. Okay, kameli. And then we'll say it again afterwards. Meli is honey. Kameli, honey. Kapa'akai, ame ka pepper. So, hanaho, ho'o hui I ka makeke. Yeah, mix the mustard. Ka vinegar, the vinegar. Kameli, the honey. Kapa'akai, ame ka pepper. So we mix all of that together in a little bowl. And we didn't give you the exact ingredients because we don't know how much you're making, right? So it always depends on that. And we are eyeballers. So it's just gotta eyeball it, figure out, maybe a little bit. Always go with a little less first because you can always add, right? But if you put too much vinegar, so put a little bit less first. And then if you think, it needs a little bit more, then you can always add. Same thing with salt. Start out with very little. If you need more, you can always add more. Don't put a whole handful of pa'akai inside, right? So ho'o hui, we want to mix it all together. Aleila, komo I ka pola nui. Okay, so we're going to put our kukui haole I loko ka pola. We forgot about that's my bad. Aleila, komo I ka pola nui. So we're going to put this beautiful, beautiful dressing. It's a dressing. The honey mustard dressing, I guess, yeah, would we call it? Makeke vinegar and meli, honey vinegar mustard dressing. I loko ka polo. Komo I ka pola nui. Ho'o hui. Ho'o hui. Now we don't even need to write it down anymore because you guys already know. Ho'o hui. One more time. Ho'o hui. Mai ka iloa. Oh, awesome. Alela, komo maluna o kalau ai. Komo maluna o kalau ai. So our lau ai in this case is lau ai arugula, but again, you can, in all of these three recipes, you can exchange anything and everything. Hey, this is just how we make it, but any other combination works. You can put pears instead of apples, macadamia nuts instead of walnuts. I mean, you can really just be very, very creative with all of this. Komo maluna o kalau ai. Right? Well, what does that mean? I know you guys all know this now, even after this very short lesson, right? Put on top of the lau ai, in this case, the arugula. Eya kalau ai kalo. Right? It's kalo? Right. Eya kalau ai kalo. Just testing, see if you guys all got it. Yeah. So this is our taro salad now. So we'll talk a little bit about kalo now. So kalo is a very, very old crop as well, very much known throughout the world in all the warmer climates. And it started out most likely, first they said Africa, but now they think India, and traveled all the way across to Africa, and then with the slaves to South America. And right now, actually, there's more taro grown in Florida, for example, than in Hawaii. And then we brought it with us as we came into the Pacific, and it arrived with us when we first arrived in Hawaii, and it has definitely become our most preferred Hawaiian staple as Hawaiians. We eat ʻulu. I love ʻulu personally. We eat ʻuala, which also tastes ono, but our puna
I think Auntie Kū froze, lost her connection there. Iini, are you still there? Oh, she's back. Perfect. Temporary technical difficulties. Was going so well.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Yes, okay, sorry. All right, so here's the taro, the kalo, the corn. Make sure you cook it, steaming preferred, long enough to make sure that you don't get an itchy throat, and also make sure that you peel it very well. Different, again, lots of different varieties, but this is our corn. And then here's the lau kalo, the taro leaf, and that also needs to be cooked to break down these calcium crystals. So make sure you cook it sufficiently so that your throat doesn't itch. And then here we have the ha. Oops, the ha. The ha is the stem of the taro, and that can also be cooked almost like string beans, kind of. Some people take off a little part of it, like how you take the back of the bean off. But nowadays, people just chop it up and put it into stews and soups. Ha is a very, very delicious Hawaiian dish made primarily with the stem of the taro. And then there's the pua-kalo. Maybe you don't know too much about the pua-kalo, but we use that as a seasoning as well. It doesn't, kalo usually takes a while for it to have a flour, and you can use that flour as seasonings in stews and in soups. I just cut it up small and throw it in, and it gives it a nice flavor. And then the ʻaʻakalo, we mostly use that for fertilizer. You can't eat it, but we do put it back into the lo'i as fertilizer. And then ea kahuli, hanaho, huli. Huli means to turn over. So what we do is, instead of waiting for seed, you could technically grow kalo from seed. We cut off the kohina, we cut off the top of the kalo corm, and then the lau, and then this mid part, the stem, instead of eating it, we put it back into the ground. Even though, as I said, you can eat the stems, and we grow the next generation, the next ohana of kalo. Ano kalo like ole. So here are just a few varieties of taro. We had over 300 varieties, and they're descriptive. So ula, you see the red of the kumu, the mana ulu. When you look at the color of the mana ulu, the corm, it has this yellow, almost uluish color. The wahia pele, which means the smoke of pele, has this grayish color, as if the smoke of pele kind of grayed the leaves. The lehua maoli, that's the one that we mostly eat as poi, and you can see it has the bottom between the corm and the ha. It has a reddish kind of a color. That's how you can distinguish that. The pololu is a taro that's very much prized for the leaves, because the leaves cook faster than some of the other Hawaiian varieties. Now, Chinese taro, bunlong, cooks even faster than pololu, so that's the fast one. But from the Hawaiian varieties, pololu is one of the ones, and it produces leaves regularly. So down in Waipio, we have it along our and we just pick every week. You can pick pololu and it goes back by the following week. And we don't eat it too much, the corn, we eat mostly the leaves. And then the piko ele is just one of many piko varieties. You can tell a piko variety when you look where the leaf, the hard part ends. If it goes all the way down to this piko, this round thing, it's a piko variety. So if you look, for example, up on the mana'ulu, you see how far up the joint is of that piko. Same thing with the wahiapele and the lehua maoli and the pololu, but with the piko, it goes right to that dot there. The leaf goes right to there. So that's how you know it's a piko variety. And there are many, many piko varieties. Mai kai. Ea ke kahi ʻōlelo no e au. Ua lau lau. Hana ho? Ua lau lau. Now we all eat lau lau, right? And what it is, it's something wrapped, usually made of fish, in the taro leaf and then in the tea leaf. So it means it's a wrapper. Lau lau is a wrapper. And that's how we refer to a pregnant woman, because she's the wrapper of new life within her. Hana ho, ua lau lau.
Ua lau lau.
Mai kai. Ea no ho'i kalamai, ka moʻolelo o papa a me wakea a me na haloa. So here's our last story, the story of Papa and Wakea and the two haloas. Wait, kahi la launa pu o Papa a me wakea o lelo mai o Papa. Ui, Velina, o Papa ko o inoa. O lelo mai o Wakea. Aloha, o wau o Wakea. No o mai ki ka huna o. Ho'o kahi o hana o opu ka honua. So Papa introduces herself to Wakea, says, hello, I'm Papa. And he says, hey, I'm Wakea. And the kahuna is thinking to themselves, oh, they're related, you know, they're one family. They're Opu Kahunua family. So in Hawaiian, among the ali'i, to be ohana was very, very common. No leina no hopulawa, o lelo mai o Papa ia Wakea, Papa, kalamai, Wakea, wa lau lau. So they got together, they became kanen, wahine, and one day Papa announces, Wakea, wa lau lau. Wakea, I am hapai, I'm pregnant. So you can say hapai also, right? But lau lau is a little bit more metaphoric, right? A little bit more poetic, a little bit more colloquial, maybe. Hau'olelo a Wakea, wahana o Hawai'i moku. So Wakea was very happy, and the birth resulted in the island of Hawaii. Hana ho, hanau o Hawai'i moku.
Hanau o Hawai'i moku.
Alaila o lelo mai o Papa. Wakea, wa lau lau ho. So next thing you know, she has another announcement. Wakea, hapai again. Hanau mai o Maui. Hanau o Maui he moku. Hana ho?
Hanau o Maui he moku.
And so the island of Maui is born. Aleila, o lelo mai o Papa. Wakea, wa lau lau ho. Again, another pregnancy. Hanau o Molokai he moku. Hana ho?
Hanau o Molokai he moku.
Mai kai. Aleila, o lelo o Papa. Wakea. Lau lau. So she tells them again, I'm pregnant. Hanau o lana ika ula he moku. Hanau o lana ika ula he moku.
Hanau o lana ika ula he moku.
Mai kai. Aleila ua lau lau ho Wakea ua lau lau. Hanau o ahu he moku.
Hanau o ahu he moku.
Mai kai. Aleila Wakea ua lau lau ho. Pregnant again. Kalamai. Hanau o Kauai he moku.
Hanau o Kauai he moku.
Mai kai. Wakea, ua lau lau ho o lelo mai o Papa. So again, lau lau ho. Pregnant again. Kalamai again too fast. I pressed hanau o ni'ihau he moku.
Hanau o ni'ihau he moku.
Leila o lelo o Papa. Wakea, ua lau lau. She get pregnant one more time. He ula a o ka ho'olave.
He ula a o ka ho'olave.
O lelo mai ea ka ula. And she says, here is the ula, the afterbirth. So she gives birth to all the islands from Hawaii all the way to Ni'ihau, and then the afterbirth is ka ho'olave. Aleila, ha'alele o Wakea, ya Papa, hui oia, me ho'ohoku kalani, o lelo mai o hui, aloha e ho'ohoku kalani, o lelo mai o ho'ohoku kalani. Velina e Wakea. So then he leaves Papa, and he goes, and Wakea goes to ho'ohoku kalani, and he introduces himself, and he goes, hey, ho'ohoku kalani, and she goes, oh, hello, Wakea. Leila no hopulawa. guess what happens? Now comes the big surprise. Oops, kalamai. ʻēala. E wakea, walau lau. And she becomes pregnant now. And awe no hoi. He keiki alu alu. Ua hala kuʻi apu we mai o hoʻohoku kalani. A ka ia wakea I hele ma waho a e o ka hale I kahi I kanu ia ke ia keiki alu alu ua ulu ia ua puka mai he kalo a ʻōlelo mai o wakea. E nana mai he kalo o haloa naka lau kapalili kona inoa. So this first child that she has is the keiki alu alu, an unformed child, and she's so sad it dies. It's born dead already, stillborn, and so they bury it on the east end of the house. And she's so sad. But the next day, when Wakea goes to the place where they buried the baby, a plant has sprouted, and he says, "Look, it's a taro." We call him Haloa Naka Lau Kapalili. We're going to call him the long stem and the quivering leaf, because that's what he looked like. He had this long stem and the lau was quivering, kapalili was quivering in the wind. Alela ʻŌlelo mai o hoʻohoku kalani a Wakea. E Wakea, ua lau lau. So soon thereafter, she has happy news for Wakea. She's pregnant again. Alela, kalamai, hanau he keiki I kaikaloa a kapala I kona inoa o haloa. ʻŌlelo mai o papa ia Wakea o haloa kona inoa. Her next birth results in this strong, handsome baby boy, and Papa tells Wakea his name shall be Haloa after his older brother Haloa Naka Lau Kapalili. And so, according to this story, the islands from Hawaii Island all the way to Niihau, as well as the Taro, are our kaikua ana. They are our older siblings, because this second child, Haloa, became the ancestor of all the chiefs and of all Hawaiians. And so we, the Hawaiian people, are the younger siblings of the islands and of the Taro. And if you know about Hawaiian ohana, the older ones are there to nourish, to protect, and to take care of the younger siblings. And the younger siblings, they're supposed to be listening to the older siblings and doing whatever they ask us to do. So this reciprocal relationship, taking care of one another, just the way we do in the Hawaiian ohana, between not just the Kanaka and the islands, the land, but also the Taro, was established according to this story from the very, very beginning of time, when Earth Mother Papa and Sky Father Wakea came together and had the islands. Now, we all know that Hawaii Island is younger than Niihau, right? I mean, we know Pele is alive on our island. We can see her, we can smell her and all of that. So how come they put Hawaii Island as the firstborn? Well, the composer of this mele koʻi honua, this cosmogonic genealogy, was from Hawaii Island. And by putting Hawaii Island first, they elevated the status of Hawaii Island, elevated themselves. And so these mele koʻi honua, like this one of Papa and Wakea, are what we call cosmogonic genealogies. And they describe how the universe was created, and in our case, the islands and the Taro, and the genealogy of the islands. It's usually done in a kahoahoa style. That's kind of a call and response chanting. So we're going to do that now. And if you know it, please chant along. E ma kakau e ini naunu e alakai.
O Wakea no hei apapa hanau moku.
Hana o Hawaii he moku, hana o Maui he moku.
Iho o Wakea no hei a hoʻohoku kalani.
Hana o Molokai he moku, oops. Hana o Lanai ka ula he moku.
Lili o pupuna lua o papa ia hoʻohoku kalani ho, iho o papa no hei a Wakea.
Hana o Ahu he moku, hana o Kauai he moku, hana o Niihau he moku, he ula a o ka hoʻolave.
Noho o Wakea ia hoʻohoku kalani.
Ua hana mai ka wā keiki mua. He keiki alu alu. o hāloa naka ka inoa.
A make ua keiki alu la.
Kanu ia I hola ma waho o ke kala o ka hale I lalo I ka lepo ma hope iho.
Ulu mai ua keiki la kālono.
O ka lau o ua kalo la ua kapa ia o lau kapa lili. O ka hā o ua kalo la o hāloa.
Hanau mai he keiki hou.
Kapa la kou I kona inoa ma ka hā o ua kalo la o hāloa. Nana mai ko ke au nei a pau o hāloa hoi. And so this is the story of the birth of the islands, of the kalo, and of the first man, hāloa, who really is in charge of taking care of all of the world. So now that we have cooked prepared our three delicious lauai or salads, we want to close with a pule because we cannot eat before we pule, right? That's Hawaiian style protocol. We do protocol and that includes pule. And this pule is based on an ʻŌlelo no iao that says, Iola no ke kino I ka mā ona o ka ōpū. Hana ho? Iola no ke kino.
Iola no ke kino.
I ka mā ona.
I ka mā ona.
O ka ōpū.
O ka ōpū.
Now, some of you say ma'ona, ma'ana, same thing. The idea is the body enjoys health when the stomach is well filled. And here's the pule, and we'll say it together since you guys are such outstanding Hawaiian speakers. I'm watching you, Manono. You're doing a fabulous job over here. Mai kailoa. Let's do it all slow together. Everybody. Iola no ke kino I ka ma'ona o ka ōpū. I ma'ona no ka ōpū me ke aloha o ka makua. E pūpa'akai kākou me ka mahalo. Ua loa'a ho'i a kākou ka ai a me ke aloha. Mai ka iloa. We won't have time to sing our song. We'll have to just do another, unless, Dana, what do you think?
It's 5:34, so if anyone has to leave, we won't feel bad. And thank you for joining us. But I think Auntie Kū, go ahead and we can finish up. And for those who are able to stay, please stay with us. And for those who have to leave, we will send out the recording within the next few days.
So the song is called Keiki o ka aina la. You might have heard it on the radio. Hana ho, Keiki o ka aina la.
Keiki o ka aina la.
Ho'olohe mai ka kola.
Ho'olohe mai ka kola.
Ina mo'olelo la.
Ina mo'olelo la.
O ka wā kahiko.
O ka wā kahiko.
He akua nui o kūla.
He akua nui o kūla.
Aloha I ka ohana la.
Aloha I ka ohana la.
Lilo I kumu ula la.
Lilo I kumu ulu la.
Iola mau o Hawai'i.
Iola mau o Hawai'i.
So this is our story of the kumu ulu in 4 lines. He mahi ai o lono la.
He mahi ai o lono la.
O I ka wāwai la.
O I ka wāwai la.
Ho'ola I ka la'au la.
Ho'ola I ka la'au la.
A lilo I ka huna kaulana.
A lilo I ka huna kaulana.
Right, that's our Lono story. Yeah, that's a nice way to remember these stories. O wā kea ho'i ke kāne la.
O wā kea ho'i ke kāne la.
O papahanau moku ka wahine la.
O papahanau moku ka wahine la.
Hanau I nā moku Hawai'i la.
Hanau I nā moku Hawai'i la.
Hanau ho'i I nā hāloa.
Hanau ho'i I nā hāloa.
Right? Can you see how if you see the English, it makes sense, right? That's the story condensed, very short version. So here we go. Makau. Keiki o ka aina la, ho'olohe mai ka kola. Ina mo'olelo la, o ka wā kahiko. O ku ke akua nui la, aloha I ka ohana la, lilo I ku muula la, I ola mau o Hawai'i. Keiki, keiki o ka aina la, ho'olohe mai ka kula, I na mo'olelo la, o ka wakahiko. He mahi ai. He mahi ai o lono la, o I ka wawai la, ho'ola I ka la aula, alilo I ka huna ka ulana. Keiki o ka aina, keiki o ka aina la, ho'olohe mai ka kula, I na mo'olelo la, o ka wakahiko. O wakea. O wakea ho ike kanela, o papahano moku kawahine la, hanau ina moku Hawai'i la, hanau ho ina haloa. A keiki o ka aina, keiki o ka aina la, ho'olohe mai ka kula, ina mo'olelo la, o ka wakahiko, o ka wakahiko. Hey, mai kai, you guys sounded beautiful. Oh yeah, mai kai. And so if you're interested in getting one of our puke ho'oma'ama, these are ohana activity booklets on ulu, ʻuala, and kalo, I'm just right now putting the link of our survey into the chat. And if you would like to access that survey, then we will send you these puke ho'oma'ama digitally, and you can download them and you can color them and you can do all kinds of things with them. So that link will be in the chat. And if you have any questions for us, you can always reach us at www.kū-A-Kanaka.com, or you can email me at ku@Kū-A-Kanaka. So we heard about the ʻulu, the ʻuala, and the kalo, a ono a pono no ke olakino. So they are not just delicious, the breadfruit, the sweet potato, and the taro, but they're also so good for our health. Hanaho ono loa, a pono no ke olakino. So delicious and very good for our health. Yeah.
I just posted the right link.
Okay, the link, sorry, Iini posted the right link, my bad. So please go on the one that Iini posted instead of mine. I want to turn it over to Donna for any final words before we do our closing protocol.
Mahalo nui, Auntie Kū. Mahalo nui, Auntie Kū and Iini and Michelle. That was fabulous. I think that we're not really going to do a closing because we've gone a bit over, but if you have any questions, please pop them into the chat. Does anyone have any burning questions that they just need to ask any of the presenters? If so, go ahead and unmute yourself. We'll just maybe take 1 minute and just see if anyone has anything since we're here all together. And you can always email questions to us at info@eatbreadfruit.com. I'll just put that in the chat. If you were not on the email list, getting information about the event, like the Zoom details, then please send us an email so we know to add you so that you receive the recording. And we can also include the link to Kū-A-Kanaka's feedback survey in that follow-up email.
Mahalo nui, Donna, and again, also mahalo nui to Michelle, mahalo nui to Iini, and mahalo nui ya ka koa. Thank you to everybody that came today, that participated in this, and then we also express our gratitude to our higher power. So we're going to close the way we open, which is with an oli, and that in this case shows our mahalo to the same entities that we greeted earlier. So it's the same melody that we started out with. So try and follow along. The only thing that happens is we start with the multitudes and then we go to the akua. Whereas when we started with the akua and worked our way down to the lehu, the multitude. So that's the Hawaiian way. We open one way, starting to greeting the most highest power first, and we end by thanking that most highest power, whoever that is that you believe in, last. Ma kau kau.
Mahalo e ie, mahalo e ka lehu, mahalo e nā mākua, mahalo e nā kūpuna, mahalo e nā rio Hawai'i, mahalo e nā au mākua, mahalo e nā akua, mahalo e ie. Mahalo.
Mahalo nui e ini, and I don't know if you can show our 3 delicious salads that we will be grinding right now. As soon as we're out now that we will be enjoying. And again, you can mix them in any way that you want to, and they will still be delicious. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Donna and the Ulu Corporation, and also Michelle for joining us this evening. Mahalo piha.
Aloha. Mahalo.
Aloha
Everyone.
apiho.
Ahui ho.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.